Hello, everyone. I'm Veer. I'm here with Git. Welcome to the moderation office hours. We're here. We're here to answer Snoppet immediately. Great going, Gran. That was immediate. Perfect. Snoppet. Is that? I hope that answers. Why is Veer? Great. We're here to answer your moderation questions about the Resonite platform. Any questions you might have on how the moderators do the things they do, on our guidelines, anything related to those topics, and even of the greater platform as a whole. Just keep in mind, we're not technical members of the team. We don't work with code. We are not programmers. So if you ask us technical questions, we're going to give you mostly silly answers and then direct you in the right direction when I ask them.
Likely. Now, of course, we do have a lot of awareness of things like the broader policy side of stuff. If you want to talk about the mentor program, you want to ask about what's going on the business side of things, we'll give you at least a good answer in that category before pointing you to, again, probably solid resources to get extra information. As we always like to talk about when it comes to the volunteer programs, we have a increasingly robust wiki. You can get solid information over there. That also has some pretty good details about moderation in case you wanted to crack it open sometime when you don't have, the mods to talk to directly, like today. A handy resource. Canada Man is way quieter than Veer.
Let me adjust.
Have to bring this very close to my face, and so I shove the microphone directly into my attention.
Oh no! I was gonna say, as I turned you up, you did that. So
I will not eat the microphone at any point going forward. My apologies, folks. We had a slight technical difficulty. Please just regard the fact Veer is flying through the air. That just happens sometimes too. Can anyone confirm that my voice is coming through reasonably clear at this point?
Bone Man
ASMR.
That'll never be a title for any of our streams ever in the future. Never.
I don't know if Bone Man ASMR is a good volume level, but it's probably at least an audible volume level, so I'll go with that. Welcome, everyone. I hope you've been having a fantastic weekend and week that preceded it. I know I have. It's been a good time. Still seeing some questions. As in Veer and Canadian Git sound the same? About the same now. Okay, that's good. Fantastic.
Oh, just about broke my arms doing that. Ow.
Do not break the arms. It is not ideal. We do have a number of questions here. All of them appear to be silly. So we're going down the list, Veer. Lightning round. Why is Veer?
I don't know. Why is you?
No, why is you? The questions. It's Veer. No one asked anything about Bone Man. Why is Veer?
Bark. I don't know. Dog?
Why is Gamora?
No clue.
How is Veer?
I'm great.
What is Veer?
I'm a dog.
Okay, well, we've gone through the questions.
That's the
extent of moderation office hours. Thank you for coming by. You've now been informed on the state and composition of our Veers on staff. I hope you all have a fantastic week. We'll see you next time. Same bat time, same bat channel, as always.
Should I go ahead and run ads again?
Yes. If the questions get silly enough, we will just hit the ad button. That is the only vector we have to try and tamp down on the silliness. By that, Revy means the audio levels are about the same, not that Veer and Canadian sound intensely similar in vocal register. I would be confusing. We are not a hive mind. I'm fairly certain. I would have probably noticed by now. It seems the sort of thing that would be difficult to miss. We have a Revy Plays game saying, but how is Canadian Git? And I already answered this. This is how we led the stream off. I'm doing quite good. It's been a fantastic weekend. I hope the same can be said for all of our good guests today. But please, feel free to field any questions concerning, moderation team, guidelines, the platform as a whole. We're happy to chat. Remember, every single time we're here, it's to make ourselves available to the community. If you have any odd questions about what's going through our head, what the future might look like, that sort of stuff. Is now or is now then?
We are on a loop.
The threat of ads remain.
Oh, man. What's going on through your head?
Lightning.
Thoughts of tennis balls and walkies.
I can't demonstrate. This is the one day I decided to show up in screen mode. Here, politely steal my head briefly.
Okay.
And only a bit. Lightning. Lightning goes through my head and skull bits. I'm not certain if that is a useful answer, but it's a very honest one.
There. Now y'all can... Wait, hold on.
Depending on the day, sometimes cigars. You've given me a bobblehead.
Oh, my goodness.
This is the power of perspective. Very important. I'm not saying you folks have to ask us a serious question about moderation office hours, but it will probably be fairly silly until you do. Good Lord. Outside, thank you very much. How is harassment handled outside of Resonite? Is action taken towards people who offend if they're doing it from outside the platform and are a part of the community at the same time? Generally speaking, we handle things on platform. We have a limited capacity to really affect people inside of Discord outside of our Discord server, where you can ping mods and actions will be taken. But if harassment is happening in like Telegram or Twitter, those other platforms, our general first recommendation is going to be engage with moderation services that exist on those other platforms. They are much better suited to both verify the report you would make and then have, of course, the toolkit to be able to do things about it. If you tell us about those things, the first recommendation we're going to give you outside of that, I guess I should say, the second recommendation is to, on our platform, make use of self or session moderation tools, removing them from your session, engaging with the block command if you know that there's someone out there you don't want to engage with, so you will not have to have that sort of problem. I will add as a final caveat at the end of this, moderation does have a policy for actioning off-platform actions. That's a kind of redundant way to frame it, but taking action when we encounter someone who could be a danger to the community. But it is pretty exclusively used for some high-level, significant concerns to the community as a whole. If there's someone that was attacking the platform or potential threat to users, that's the sort of thing where we might be looking at that policy to see if it's an appropriate time to take action. But generally speaking, no, our focus is on things that happen here and directing you towards the best resources to handle things that happen elsewhere.
Yep, definitely.
Well, there, I gotta have one real answer. Let's go back to how is Veer? What is Veer?
Do you?
Yes.
I guess. I have no idea what I'm agreeing to, though.
Objects in mirror are closer than they appear? What is the context?
Oh, I think it was just because I put your skull way up close to the camera and put it over your
head. The skeletons are approaching at speed, people.
Bobblehead.
Be alarmed. That said, I guess since we don't have tons of questions piling in, we can go back to one of the old spiels, the old PSAs, because it sometimes generates questions. No, Frugs. Sorry, one of the goals of moderation that we'd like to express over the months and years at this point is effectively we're trying to run ourselves out of a job. We're hoping to, through the addition of new features, give users as many tools as you can to handle situations that crop up inside of Resonite without having to give us a ticket. It's not because we don't like receiving tickets, we do. It keeps us employed for one, and B, it's quite enjoyable to help curate the community and keep things quite pleasant here, and I think we've got an excellent community. But it's always slower. If you have to send in a ticket, even if we improve the ticket system, bring reporting in-game, and have tons of mods available, you always have to reach out to us and then we have to act. If we've given you a tool like blocking or hard permissions or session moderation tools, that allows you as the host or user inside of a session to just be able to immediately fix whatever problem's happening to you, or prevent it from happening in the first place, as things like hard permissions might be able to assist with in the future. that's the sort of direction moderation wants to take things in, providing you with as many features, as many abilities to solve those situations as possible, till theoretically a day might come when we're not necessary. I don't think we're ever going to necessarily reach that point, but the goal is to get as close as we can. The broad philosophy of moderation here. VT asks, wait a minute, there's a Canadian GitHub? Probably.
Is there?
I suspect somewhere. There's at least Canadians on GitHub. I mean, I'm quite confident of that. If only for personal participation, but outside of me, I suspect. Zalgo's Noppet. I don't have an answer to that.
I forgot that word existed, Zalgo. Zalgo's Noppet. Oh my gosh. Okay, this one's for me. VT says, also for the Veer, professional thoughts and the information currently available on the big screen Beyond 2. I don't know, I think it looks really cool. I love the fact that it has eye tracking. A bit expensive for me at the moment, but how can I put it? It would be almost an instant, I'm putting money towards saving for this, if it had mouth tracking as well. I kind of want to see how people are going to be experiencing that eye tracking, because I know that it's got that really tiny one sensor per eye, and I wonder if that's going to be good. And I wonder if it'll be capable of even tracking pupil tracking, but I have no clue.
Yes. My half of that, I'm just very excited to see new headsets come out aiming for that niche. It's very, very interesting and nice to see that those keep coming out and hopefully pushing things ever more affordable going forward. One of the other sides that I find fascinating is that this eye tracking has grown in popularity. It's showing up in a whole bunch of these headsets now. I think it speaks to just how valuable in communication, being able to see where a person's looking, being able to see the changes in their expression carried by the eyes is to this sort of body language that only VR can pull off. I say in screen mode, I cannot demonstrate it all. But look, there's a dog here and he can demonstrate all of these things. I don't have hands and I don't have skin on my face, so I'm the worst example of this. But there are many examples in Resonite of how powerful that additional level of body language is, and it's cool to see that the companies picked up on that and are putting it into all the new headsets coming out.
Thank goodness. We have
actually a number of questions. Okay,
yeah.
let's chew through them. Grand UK says, would you be interested in the Valve Deckard when it eventually gets announced and released? I will buy it just after Half-Life 3 comes out.
Personally, I want to see what features it has. If it's not inside out and it doesn't have eye and face tracking, that's just a no for me instantly. I know that the new big screen Beyond doesn't have inside out tracking either, so that's another big deterrent for me. I want to be able to go into the kitchen and then cook while I'm talking to my friends.
He wishes to cook. He just asks, pair it with the Babel tracker unless that is sold out. A solid option maybe for the additional face tracking. Again, we'll have to see what people do with these, how convenient it is to get all the add-ons with the big screen headset. And again, as Veer said, how solid that eye tracking is. But that information should be coming down the line soon as reviewers and people get their hands on it.
I just saw Fergus's question. We'll get to that one in a second. Mint Shock asks, how would you handle someone circumventing Resonite's moderation tools through software hackery? With a big old ban hammer. That's a big one for us. We don't like that. It's not a good thing to do. Mm-hmm. And it ranges from multiple ways, right? Let's say theoretically someone finds some way to get around, the bans or something by hosting servers in a particular way or something, if that's something that people can even do. It will extend your ban potentially indefinitely. Don't do it. It's not a good idea.
Now, we do have I guess as an addendum to that, a number of different bans when it comes to limiting your access to other users. You can find all of this on the wiki, but we have what we think of as soft public bans, standard public bans, hard public bans, all of them restricting your ability to engage with other users until you're expected, and the hard public bans to neither be able to invite users to your world or be invited to others. But beyond that, we also have what we call an account ban, which simply denies you access to the platform entirely. If you are engaging in ban evasion, as Veer says, not only are you likely to get a ban or restrictions extended indefinitely, but it could quickly find itself escalated to that level so as to prevent you access to the platform entirely. We try to avoid that as much as possible, because again, you could be making things in Resonite, and we want to have you at least have access to the things you've made to export or otherwise deal with in as much as we can. But yeah, this would be a pretty solid reason for when we pull that trigger. Rick says, how do you feel about the multi tool that was introduced by Specs in June at yesterday's MMC award stream? Should all mentors be teaching new users about how to use the multi tools?
After seeing how dangerous it is, I would say yes. I think they should learn how to use it, make sure that it doesn't get, it doesn't get anyone else killed.
Turn it around and put it directly into the fire.
Oh, there goes your question, Brooks.
Grand UK asks, how would you react to Git becoming skinned, meaning him receiving skin on those bones? It just sounds unsanitary, to be honest.
Ew, yeah, there's
I'd probably get it cleaned off.
There's so much bacteria and viruses on skin.
Yes.
And you could even get a skin infection if you're not careful. Wouldn't recommend it. Fur is better.
There are furred skeletons. They are not better.
Ew, you reminded me of that.
VT asks, is there a physical representation of said banhammer? The account banhammer? No, there's not an account dedicated banhammer. There have been a number of hammers gifted to Veer over the years to engage in moderation actions. I don't think one has become official yet, though. Grand UK gives a more serious follow-up. Would hardware level bans be considered for extensive ban evasion? So one of the things we don't generally talk about here, despite our openness for everything else, is how our ban evasion works. Right. The reason behind that is exactly as you'd imagine it. We're trying not to give people additional details to try and circumvent the ban evasion that we have, but we do have a form of ban evasion that functions in a way we're not going to get into. And that is certainly applied to every account restriction put out there, and obviously at the account level, to prevent individuals from just skirting around it.
Let's see. Lexivo asks, the mentor program feels a bit stagnant with events and programs. Is there any initiatives being planned to make mentors more proactive in helping new users? There's a couple things underway. Nothing that's been announced yet, but there's going to be more information that comes out soon. If you're in the mentor program, just keep an eye on the mentor and, well, it's the volunteer Discord. And we'll announce stuff as it's released. But yeah, we're working on a couple things. Cobalt asks, wait, the MMC stream was yesterday. Is it in the VOD? We didn't stream it. It was on the Creator Jam Twitch, so check out their channel.
Yes.
Git, can you show us a furred skeleton?
I'm preparing.
He's looking. I'll answer the next question here. Liger XT5 asks, how many bans a week? So thankfully, it's actually not that many. And I'd say if we're going by week, I'd say around 1 ban a week. But sometimes it can be very dry months where no bans occur. Those are great. We prefer that. But sometimes it can be upwards of around 10 bans a month. It just really varies wildly.
I'm having minor technical difficulties.
Oh. Here, I'll keep going. Can you visualize Frooks being shaken? I don't have that, I don't have his old, copy of his avatar that was all dynamic bones anymore, unfortunately. But I definitely would have brought that out if I had it. Cobalt Scythe asks, is there a place to drop suggestions on the mentor-related things that isn't GitHub? Not yet. It's probably one of those things that we're actually talking about behind closed doors. That's ghastly. Why does it have a
That's
knife?
going to be my stand-in for the remainder of the office hours.
Is this,
Blame Grand UK.
is this in a doctor's office? What is this picture of? Like, I mean, the one on the wall. Looks like
I have no explanation for this. It just exists and will now be my avatar for the remainder of this good office hours because you wanted me to participate in the furry community.
He's a chef. I spotted the little cherry tomatoes.
Oh, that's reasonable. By that I mean horrifying, but yes.
Here, he can
asks
warm
how many
up down
bands a week.
There
We can't unfortunately give out information on how many bands we issue a week. We generally try not to talk about what's going on inside of any specific tickets or tickets themselves. We might get more broad statistics on moderation one of these days and chuck them into the recap stream. But no, we're not going to talk about specific instances in that regard.
That's my bad. I technically did while you were looking for this, this thing, but I didn't give too many details. It's very few.
Well, we're going to fire Veer. Into the fire you go.
My God. Oh, hold on. That's my cue. All right. I'm now in the fire, guys.
Paul Scythe asks, is there a place to drop suggestions on mentor-related things that isn't GitHub? Well, I mean, one of the best resources... Oh, did you answer? You answered this one? Okay.
I'm down past why does it have a knife? That is the question I asked. Is that what a furry skeleton looks like? I hope not.
I hope nothing looks like this.
Yeah. I'm just going to shrink this a little more. There we go, into the fire.
Can you fire Veer out of a cannon? That is possible, yes.
Let's not set Veer on fire directly. Great. All right. I'm getting roasted.
Like we should have given the school teacher's answer of, I don't know, can you?
Wow. Of course, anyone can. Should they? No.
Well, polite horror of bird skeletons aside.
By the way, just a little reminder, usually we do stay around for a bit longer. Today, it's going to be kind of a little bit shorter, but, we're probably not necessarily going to cut it 4:30 EST if we're still getting a bunch of questions, but probably up to about 10 minutes after that point today, we'll be cutting the stream.
Yes. How many times does Veer get fired a week? It really depends how many campfires we built that week and how attentive he is to where he walks.
Yeah. I try not to get burned. It happens every so often.
I suppose we could do, if we're having another quiet moment, the thought experiment I've always wanted, to question folks on office hours if there was a moderation feature you wanted us to prioritize next, just as a tiny sample of our viewers. What comes to mind? We've introduced a number of things between guidelines, updates, blocking features recently. What area would you folks be most interested in seeing development time thrown to next? I'm going to introduce, obviously, the asterisk at the end here that we can't necessarily push around priorities here, but it's always good to get general opinion on what people are interested in seeing come down the line, and we can shuffle that off as feedback. Oh, we have questions. It was quiet for an entire 30 seconds there, Veer. It did not last long. Luxavo asks, are there any processes that moderators have to deal with drama occurring from users making ticket details public? So generally speaking, any information that we give you as moderators, you're allowed to share. What I always like to say is any kind of response you get in the ticket system, you can just print out and put in your world. This is very useful, obviously, if you're asking us questions about, say, what guideline interpretations are. We can give you a text answer and you can just post it if there's obviously an argument happening between friends. So generally speaking, we're not going to give any problem with people more broadly sharing information we give them. If that sort of conversation develops into something that would cross into harassment, obviously that's violating more guidelines, and we'd like to hear about that, and we're likely to lead with warnings to prevent people from escalating that. But if it persists, it could lead to account restrictions. That's mostly the most likely, I would say, a process that results of it. People do things that are silly, they take it too far, other folks let us know through tickets, and we just treat it like a bog standard harassment case. The fact that it developed from a ticket doesn't give any particular difference to it. The only thing that would come to mind is moderation treats any kind of negative repercussions that come from someone submitting a ticket quite severely. As in, if someone reports another user and then that user receives account restrictions, if the person who received account restrictions goes after the person who reported them quite correctly, we're going to escalate in that scenario quite sharply, because you cannot use that. You can't be weaponizing moderation, you can't be going after people who simply want to report things. Those are the sorts of issues that we're going to respond quickly on and escalate just how significant we level our account restrictions for that quite sharply.
Have you let people know to start their streams for you to raid into yet? Oh, right. So, yeah, we raid streams at the end of our office hours. If you are a Resonite streamer and you're streaming the platform and you wish to be raided, then start up your stream. Make sure that it's going around the time that we are going to be closing down, and we might raid you. We just have some requirements, that like you can at least speak English, because we're speaking English. We've got English-speaking viewers. We don't want to necessarily confuse anyone, right? And that it is not, there are no adult terms in your stream's tags. Just, obviously, like for the obvious reasons.
World Theory says, to be honest, I think the current development priorities are right on track, taking all factors I know about it into account. Lots of important stuff on the roadmap. That is certainly true. And of course, moderation, while there's many areas we'd like to see it improved, I think my biggest thing is probably dragging reporting in platform at this point. We do have a system that functions and a very, very kind community. So I think we're coasting well, I should say, while a number of other big priorities, making the platform itself much more sturdy, are a top priority right now.
Are there processes for Resonite to adhere to DMCA and any other similar legislation? Yes. Basically, if there's like some sort of like national level legislation that requires action from us or policies from us, then we're going to create them, typically speaking. Yes. But yeah, DMCA, that's a big one, obviously, and yeah, we have processes for that. It's written into our guidelines. You can, I think, find them at the bottom of our guidelines about DMCA in particular.
And of course, we always have that general inquiry tab inside of the ticket reporting system. You're welcome to ask us about how the processes like that happen, though some of them can be quite difficult for the average person to compile the necessary information, as a lot of legal processes are. But we can at least lay out all of those requirements so you're more aware. Oh, it says, so streams tag/titles that say people 18 plus only are a no-go. Is more generally we're trying to avoid adult content specifically, but yeah, if you're saying 18 plus only, we're probably going to err on the side of caution if there's another one available.
Yeah, we're not requiring our viewers here to be 18 plus, so we're not going to send them somewhere that says 18 plus. Goes without saying.
Well, we just said it, Veer.
True.
It goes with saying.
It goes with saying.
That's it, yes. We still want a lot of folks to run streams. Don't worry about the size. As we've said a number of times, we're actually looking for the smallest stream that meets that pretty limited criteria, or broad criteria. The restrictions are small. So if you're just running a stream with only 1 or 2 viewers, you're actually likely to be one of the top picks we're going to send a raid towards. So always feel free to stand up a stream, even if you're just getting the whole streaming process started. Lord knows we're aware of what it's like to be fresh streamers still sorting things out. VT says, would you like your saying with or without? It's going to be with in this instance, though without is preferable. It saves us work. Grand UK asks, I think some streamers mark themselves as might swear, which immediately marks it as mature. Are these streams fine? If it's actually, would that be visible for the reason they've marked themselves as mature when rating?
I don't know. If I can't see it in the the rating screen, then I'm not going to see it. So, but if it's in the tags and it says 18 plus or might swear, mature audiences only, that kind of thing, we're probably not going to raid that necessarily, just because we don't necessarily know the ages of all the viewers who are watching right now. That said, I don't know how many times I've accidentally swore on these.
That is often the case. I mean, I will occasionally let a swear slip out of curse in odd contexts. That said, our goal here is generally to avoid adult content. If you're running a stream where you just occasionally let out not the kindest word, it's not the end of the world. But if you've marked your stream to be mature in this regard because you might want to delve into all of those topics, then yeah, no, we're going to avoid it. Oh, Grand UK asks, do you think someone should set up a podcast in Resonite in between moderation and office hours and the Resonance? That would be difficult. There's not a huge chunk of time. We sometimes run our office hours as late as 5 these days, and the Resonance will kick up 30 minutes after that. You could run a very fast podcast.
Yeah.
But I don't know if this channel is likely to ever run one in that regard. That brief break between programming seems to be working quite well now. It gives Fruits the opportunity to pop in and occasionally be part of the comments and questions here and still have enough time to get ready for his show later in the day.
However, if you're talking about a community member who wants to, let's say, start up a podcast, maybe even during the moderation office hours, and between the office hours and the Resonance stream, yeah, sure, absolutely, go for it, and we might even raid you. So I'd say go for that. Yeah,
that would definitely work out well. Again, something for limited time zone, but Fruit starts pretty reliably at past, so you could consistently have at least a half hour, and that gives you the if you started at, say, now, you could have a casual conversation with a reasonable expectation of something like a raid or viewers bouncing around looking for their Resonite streams within 30 minutes of you starting. That would be very convenient, I think, to build an audience.
Yeah.
Grand UK says, time to set up a podcast for next week. Well, we do encourage it every week when we remember. We almost forgot this week, but we do want to see it happen.
By the way, I am checking the raid category thing here, and currently I see only Creator Jam and a channel called... Oh, actually, I can't pronounce that. It doesn't say that they're speaking in English, just Portuguese. Darn.
Luke says between 2 office hours. This is a very strange Fern sequel, and I will accept it. Grand UK asks, how does one set up a podcast? I'm going to assume you need a small pod-like room and a fishing line, but I have not done it, so that might have to be for the more educated to answer.
Making sure that you have a boom mic on an arm. You know what? Just have the arm mic, the mic arm itself. You don't need the mic.
Autumn says, I want to start streaming Resonite. Well, that would be excellent. Please do.
Nice.
We'll raid you.
Yeah.
You just have to appear in the next minute. Maybe a couple of minutes. Brooks is going about thunder. That bodes well. Remember, if Fruits loses power halfway through the Resonance, everyone gets to make fun of him. It might even be in the guidelines that you have to. I'm not certain. I haven't checked.
It should be. If not, I'll add it. It sounds like Fruits actually might get trolled.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Very worrisome.
Trolled by lightning, trolled by nature, trolled by his community.
Every time Fruits loses power in the middle of Resonance, the entire community is given one free pass to zap him the next time they see him in game. Okay, I think we have run through most of the questions.
Yeah. Let me check
gonna
the categories
slide
again.
Into that part of our office hours wherein I say, if you're typing a question right now, please continue to type that question. We will field the last few ones that come through. But if you've not yet and we're just kind of thinking up things to ask, then I would ask you to hold on to those questions. We will be back next week, same time, same channel, every Sunday at 4 p.m. EST. Feel free to come by next time and give us a yak.
Yeah.
Brand UK asks, can I shake Fruits? I'm not certain. Please don't just shake a person if you encounter a Fruits in the wild. Remember, you're only allowed to zap him if he loses power. Very specific restrictions on this. That said, if you have to ask us a question before the next moderation office hours, I'd like to point you in two directions. One, you can always go to the ticket system and, as we say, submit something under the general help or general inquiry help topic. That just gives you an avenue to ask questions to the moderation team as a whole, get answers back in text. We try to get back to you within a day or two there. Or, of course, you can drop a question into the Discord question archive thread for moderation office hours. You can find that in the Resonite Discord under the office hours forum, where you'll find a pinned thread where people can just chuck in questions. There's none there right now, but if you have them and you want to save them for next time, feel free to put them there. We will field it on the next office hours.
Definitely. I keep checking the raid channel function here, and it looks like it hasn't changed. Wait a minute. There is Alex Boot 23, Resonite making a voice command ring. Just started. So
VT says, but what? Go ahead.
No, you go on.
VT says, but what if we purchase fast food and disguise it as our own cooking? I don't know what this is in relation to, but I would be disappointed.
Alright, folks, I'm going to go ahead and start the raiding process. We're going to raid Alex Boot 23 because this voice command ring sounds pretty interesting. Make sure you guys give him a wave. I almost said a wag. Dog mode. Absolute dog mode. But yeah, make sure you guys say hi from us. And I'm going to go ahead and start the raid now. So we'll catch you guys next time. You guys have a lovely rest of your week. And see you guys. Yeah, see you guys next Sunday. We're going to be raiding in about 10 seconds. Bye, guys.
Well, now to start talking about the deepest, darkest secrets of Resonite, which, of course, includes Fruits'
Raid
backstory,
now.
where